All Things Motoring is owned and brought to you by CHANGECARS, South Africa's trusted online vehicle platform. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or just need advice, visit changecars.co.za.
This week on All Things Motoring, we continue our epic Mpumalanga road trip. We check out a stunning collection of cars at the Casterbridge Motor Museum. We go on a two-wheel tour down memory lane. We drive some of the most scenic roads South Africa has to offer. And have an amazing dinner in the bush with friends.
We've just arrived at Triumph, South Africa. All Things Motoring is planning a big trip to Mpumalanga, and I'm pretty sure Michael's going to rock up in his Audi R8. I'm planning on rocking up on two wheels. So we're going to get in here, look around, and find the ideal bike for this trip. I'm absolutely spoiled for choice right now. The most challenging part for me is always choosing the correct bike for the trip. There's so many different categories to choose from. You've got the adventure bikes over here, you've got the sports bikes, and you've also got the touring, which is the more sensible option for this kind of trip, but I think I'll go for classic heritage. Simply because of the heritage behind the bikes, the Bonneville range, as well as that look, the retro classic look is just phenomenal. But before we go and ride, safety first, I need to go pick out the correct gear. Triumph South Africa managed to give us this Triumph Speed Twin 1200. There is a 900 available here, but we got the 1200. So the nice thing about this bike is that it's a classic retro look, but it's got modern tech and a 1200 engine. So we're pushing out about 73 kilowatts and 112 newton meters of torque. And that's the part about this bike I'm really looking forward to the most. So because it is a speed twin, Triumph has really gone twin on this thing. So we've got twin cylinder, twin exhaust, twin shocks at the rear, twin brake calipers at the front, Brembos, by the way.
Morning, Gugu.
Oh, morning, thanks
Rehearsal's over.
Thank you, thank you.
You got a beauty here. You look ready, kitted out, resplendent in your Triumph gear.
Well, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the safety gear.
So obviously when you're riding a bike, Mike, safety is important. Safety first, right? They say ride for the slide, not the ride. So you've got to have safety gear.
I love all these sayings I'm hearing, ride for the slide. Who invents this stuff?
No, but it's true. It's very true. So we've got the jacket over here, which you've been commenting about. It's a good looking jacket.
For sure.
Thank you.
Correct.
You obviously need gloves. Very important. Why, you may ask, right? So when you fall, or if you fall, the first thing that hits the ground is hands. That's just natural. So you've got the leather gloves. Really nice. Let me know what you think.
Beautiful. Perfect for these tender hands.
Exactly, to keep them tender, right?
Oh, thank you. So like a morning like this morning, going to do a 30-kilometer ride, hazy view to White River, beautiful weather. What's in store for you on a bike?
Well, look, beautiful weather, first of all. I hope the road is dry, which will make the ride even sweeter. We're going to be going through the twisties in this thing, and it's a nice bike. It's got a 1200 motor, 73 kilowatts, 112 newton meters, 1200, 112.
Now, when you refer to linear, meaning smooth, bottom to top,
all the way through.
Unbelievable.
Any gear, you just open up.
How many gears on this?
It's a 6-speed.
6-speed. We're going to have some fun, go have some breakfast and hit the road.
Let's go grab. I don't know who'll be chasing, who'll be following, but
I
let's
do.
go.
I do. I always know who's chasing, who's following.
We'll see. Let's go. But every hard-working crew needs a pit stop, don't you think?
Absolutely.
We are at Riders Rest. Do you want to join me?
I'm coming in with you. What are you thinking of having?
I think I'll have a still water.
Because you're driving?
Yeah, because I'm driving.
Because I'm not driving, I'm going a little bit heavy today. I'm going sparkling water.
Oh, okay.
Huge smile on your face. I understand why. I've been with you 40 kilometers from the town of Hazy View to just on 3 kilometers outside White River. Tell us about that ride, bro.
It was a phenomenal ride. It didn't even feel like 40 kilometers. So I'm surprised you're saying it was 40 kilometers. It felt much, much quicker. How's the scenery for you?
Oh, magnificent. On the left, on the right, all those pine trees. I don't imagine on the bike you get a chance to look at it. Focus, focus,
no,
focus.
On the bike, that's why I'm asking you, because on the bike, you've really got to focus on the road ahead of you. But I did catch a few glimpses of the scenery. I caught you whizzing past and me whizzing past. It was a nice dynamic.
On a bike, on those windies, the roads are good. Any potholes? I didn't see any potholes.
No potholes, just a few little kinks and little scrapes on the road here and there. Obviously, you don't want to hit them.
Of course.
It's not the most comfortable.
But as a seasoned biker, you're aware of that.
I'm aware of that. You got to keep your eyes on the road.
Focus, as my little guy says.
Exactly.
So we didn't come here to have breakfast. We've already had breakfast at the hotel. We've come here with a purpose. Behind us, the incredible Casterbridge Motor Museum. What are your expectations?
A lot of classics, cars, bikes as well. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Are you saying the Triumph and the R8 have got no place here? This is future classics.
I'm closer to the classics than the R8, but that's a future classic over there.
For all our viewers in the 2057 show, we're going to have these two vehicles in the museum. Let's go inside and see what it's all about. We're at the garage, part of the Casterbridge Motor Museum, chatting with Rodney and Louis. But before we start, what do you know about this car? What stands out for you?
First of all, it's a race car and it's red. I think that's the most important thing over here.
Is that the most important thing about this iconic vehicle?
That's me.
Louis, this is your facility. You and Rodney run an incredible show here. Tell us about how it started.
I started Casterbridge Lifestyle Centre 25 years ago, and we had a motor car museum then, and it's just grown to a bigger one down at the bottom, and now recently a new one, a new sports car, which is mostly Rodney's.
What's incredible, 25 years ago, 1997 doesn't feel like a long time ago. It literally feels like yesterday. How many pieces here, Rodney?
Well, I think there are about 20, Mike. If I were to count them, 20. That's it.
Any particular one stand out for you as your absolute favorite?
Well, you've got to look behind us, I think, at the MG Magna. This is a very special car. It's the entrant by a local manufacturer in the 37 and 38 South African Grand Prix. That's something quite special.
That is incredible. So now manufactured in the 1930s. For me, for you, this is the old days. I speak to my little boy. He thinks the old days is like the 2010s. How did this car do?
Well, it was handicap races at the time, and remember that it was racing against the big 6-litre supercharged auto unions. He did 100 miles an hour down the straight, the back straight in East London. The auto unions did 160 miles an hour.
So 160 miles an hour, roughly 250 kilometers, and 100 miles an hour, roughly 160. massive differential. It's almost like two different classes.
That's right. You know, that's why they had a handicap system at the time. I think he finished in both events and he got a 4th and a 6th, somewhere around there.
Now you speak about Grand Prix in the 1930s. The Formula One World Championship started in the 1950s, 1950 to be exact. But South Africa has got an incredible racing heritage that predates the start of the championship. Any famous South African names of the period that come to mind?
Well, the owner and driver of this is Les Miller from Durban, and if we look over there, we see another one of his cars which he built just early post-war. It's called Spider, and it was very, very successful in that early post-war period prior to the Formula One championship being instigated.
What I find incredible, Gugu, imagine an individual deciding, I'm going to build a race car. Today you take a well-known racing team like Red Bull Racing or Mercedes or Ferrari, they've got in excess of 2,000 people building a car. Here you've got an individual building a car.
This car, it was self-funded, so after the racing, they would put the original body back on and sell it into the market.
Now the body itself on this car, what is it made of?
Made of aluminium.
Aluminium. So aluminium has been used in race car construction for many, many years.
Many years.
Decades.
Yeah.
The reason for that, the lightness?
Lightness, yeah.
Awesome. There's more to all things motoring. Sometimes 2 wheels are better than 4. Do you know that there's a bike museum downstairs?
I didn't, but I think I'll handle that one. You hang around with Rodney here and I'll take care of that.
You're going to handle the important stuff,
Sounds
are you?
like a damn plan. How's it, man? How are you?
Good, and yourself?
Well, thank you. I'm Gugu.
Gugu, Fred, pleased to meet you.
Fred, nice to meet you. I hear you're the guy who takes care of the motorcycles over here.
I do, yes, that's correct. It's my passion is classic motorcycles and vintage motorcycles. So what I've put together here basically is a nice range of motorcycles dating from 20s, 30s, 40s right through to the 80s. Which covers all the old motorcycle history.
Look, Fred, I wasn't around in the 80s, but you can school me, teach me.
Yeah.
Show me a thing or two. So over here, what are we looking at?
Okay, yeah, you've got a 1943 Harley Davidson, 1200cc. They were used
So
in
they had 1200s back in the 1940s?
Yes. No, they had 1200s then. If you go back to as far as in the early 20s, I mean, and even in the teens, they had 1000cc's.
Wow.
You know, so capacity-wise, from fairly early, you had different biggish capacities already. These were very popular in the wartime, Second World War. They
Looks
were
about
used
right.
in the field, yeah. And okay, this one's civilianized. Those ones would have been a green, military green color.
And then, Fred, it looks like if you want to cycle, you could cycle this, or is this a kickstart?
You would battle to cycle it. Yes, that is the Kickstarter on the side, which it looks like a bicycle pedal.
It looks like a bicycle pedal.
But yeah, that's basically the format they use that time on these motorcycles.
I want to look at that behind you there. Reminds me of the current BMW R18. I see it's a BMW, but which one is this?
This is a R50.
Okay.
It's a 500cc. And these ones were also popular, like we said about the military on that side. These again were very popular with the speed cops, traffic police in our country.
The bad boys.
Yeah. So that was used by them quite a bit.
So Fred, I see this room seems to be split up into different countries here. Tell me a bit more about that.
Basically what we try and do is give the people an idea of the bikes from the different countries, but put them in segments where you got from old to modern. Because also what happens is you get people that are more into the moderner bikes than the old ones.
Yeah.
But then they can also see where they came from to where they are now.
Okay, so what do we have here? We've got the Ducati side of it.
Yes, we got the Ducati side of it. This is a 750 GT Ducati. And what happened is this was the very first V-twin Ducati, this series. And before that, they just built singles. And then they started with the 750, which is basically what you see here.
I was actually looking at it before, and that V is quite pronounced, eh? Look
Yes.
at the configuration.
That's a 90-degree V. And basically, since they've started with the Vs, in the 70s. They've carried on right today, and their bikes are still V, just as the BMWs are flat twin. So it's been their heritage all along to actually go with that format of engine.
Fred, thank you so much for your time and your knowledge. Really, really appreciate it. I will be coming back, I promise.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Anytime.
And guys, if you want to pop in, it is the Costa Bridge Motorcycle Museum. Right here, pull in.
We all know the often used line, the name is Bond, James Bond. Not for me, the name is Moss, Sterling Moss. So we're looking at something here pretty unique. Motorbike with a sidecar. What kind of modern features do you think this has got?
Probably wireless. What do you think?
That's for sure. If there's one thing you've got to love about Africa, do you think you'd go to Europe or America or Australia and see something like this?
You wouldn't find this anywhere else but Africa, right?
Imagine the guy who's put this together, the kind of work. I mean, it physically
It's
looks
craftsmanship.
exactly like a Harley with a sidecar.
With a side cart.
Very impressive. Let's get going. We've got places to be. You want to race?
Okay.
I'm right in front of you. An upcoming work week in the beautiful Kruger National Park. It's around 8 o'clock at night. The temperature must be 25, 26 degrees.
It's nice and warm, isn't it?
Absolutely. The whole weekend we were a little bit worried about rain. The rain didn't come.
Didn't come, I'm glad you prayed.
Prayed hard.
Yeah.
But the most beautiful part of this weekend, the drive down, you being on the Triumph.
It was awesome, right?
Oh, magnificent. You being on the Triumph, me being in the R8, magnificent. How are the roads around this province?
These roads are just perfect for driving. They're made for driving.
Correct.
Whether you're on a bike or on a car, this is where you want to be, right?
Often you hear me talking about motoring Nirvana. Cape Town, Chapman's Peak, that area, motoring Nirvana. There's two motoring Nirvanas. Lowveld in Mpumalanga province, incredible. How are the sights, the waterfalls, Pilgrim's Rest, Kraskorp? What can you say about this
All
province?
in one province. It's been such an amazing weekend, huh?
Absolutely. An evening like tonight, beautiful game drive,
Right.
beautiful weather,
Beautiful sightings, right?
beautiful sightings, beautiful surroundings. Plus, when you talk about surroundings, we're surrounded by friends. Got a good friend of mine, Louis, and his family here. Going to chat to them. They live in the Lowveld. Come from Gauteng. Listen, Gauteng's a lovely province if you're working.
Let's chat to the locals though.
Let's chat to the locals.
Sounds about right. Cool.
Lovely for me to be chatting with a good friend of mine, Louis Buerta. Louis, you live in Nelspruit. When I come from Joburg, every single time I come to the Lowveld, Kruger Park in particular, I consider it a genuine privilege. What is it like living here with
Without
your
a
family?
doubt. You guys can see, I mean, you've had the privilege of spending the weekend here, and we're sitting currently in the Kruger Park. You listen to the sounds out here, you feel nature, and it just makes you relax. And living in the Lowveld, that's it.
But it's interesting that you say you actually do hear the sound.
Yes.
Yes, we've got a little bit of natural light around us and artificial light all
Yes.
in one. But you can hear, sometimes you can hear the silence, sometimes you can hear the animals. Now, I said you grew up here.
Yes.
Never thought about leaving?
Well, we always think about leaving, but as soon as we go into Gauteng and we see the smoke and the cars, we want to come back to the Lowveld again. So, never ever.
How often would you and the family get to the park?
Normally, we would try at least twice a year. We've been privileged because we've stayed here our entire life, so it's a bit difficult coming every weekend. So twice a year for us is what we look at.
So now, all things motoring, not only about the beautiful bush,
Yes.
it's about motoring culture.
Correct.
Hilux 2.4, clearly the right car.
Exactly.
What is the motoring culture in Nelspruit?
We're definitely standing to the national vehicle of choice. In Mpumalanga, you'll see every fourth car is something else. The other 6 are Hiluxes, you know. So it's either a Hilux or a Fortuner. We know this is what it's about, but I must say Ford is catching up. Ford is definitely
So
catching
you're
up.
saying you're not a Toyota fan?
I am a Toyota fan. I must be very positive with my words here because I drive one myself. But if I had to choose, well, let's leave that in blank space.
Yeah, lovely. Listen, do you get better than Toyota? You don't.
You don't.
They're saying everything keeps going right, Toyota.
Without a doubt. Still the best car in the market for resale value. It's still the car that drives 500,000 Ks without any issues.
So Gugu and myself and the team, we spent the weekend doing the sights and sounds literally over in Mpumalanga. The roads are incredible.
Yes.
As a local, for you, what is the best thing about Mpumalanga?
Best thing about Mpumalanga is having the opportunity to sit around a dinner table with friends, family, and just enjoying nature itself.
I can assure you, not myself or anybody else present will disagree with you. Let's go have a great chow. Louis, lovely to see you.
Thank you, Mike.
We said nothing can beat us. We've been to KZN, we've been to the Western Cape, we're in the beautiful Mpumalanga province. Where to next?
That is a tricky one, but I think we should leave that to our fans. What do you think?
Love the idea. Write into us at info@allthingsmotoring.co.za. Let us know you'd like us to visit your province, your town. We'll do our best. From the beginning, we said this is about the fans,
Right.
and it really is about the fans. You want us, we'll be there.
We'll be there. I'll bring him with.
Next week on All Things Motoring, we head off to GZ Adventures in Lanseria to see how many activities we can fit in one day. We then put some rubber down at Swartkorps and find out how to get into karting.
How's it, man? How are you?
Good, well and you?
Good.
I'm Fred Villian.
How did you know my name?
By chance, by chance.
Nice little spots.
Very nice. One thing when you're in town, what do you not do?
Don't do like the locals. Cheers.
You're very cute when you smile, I must tell you.
Thanks, handsome.
Kind of motivates me.
I'm a car guy, but there's more to all things motoring than 4 wheels, sometimes 2 wheels. Do you know that there's a motoring music?
I'm excited. I think I want to
So vehicles of this period were often driven in races lasting 6 to 9 hours. As you can imagine, it wasn't easy for a person to urinate or drive it. So there used to be a hole there, perforated floor, a little known fact that very few people know, including the curators.
I'm going for the Speed Twin Trop.
All Things Motoring is owned and brought to you by CHANGECARS, South Africa's trusted online vehicle platform. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or just need advice, visit changecars.co.za.